Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I really appreciate your support, and I want to thank you for all of the attention that you have given to me and my channel. It really means the world to me. Today, I just want to take a moment of your time to talk to you a little bit about a fragrance that I discovered recently, and I love this one. This one is by the company Dolce Gabbana. The fragrance itself is called Vetiver. Now, right before I begin, I do want to mention that if you are looking to pick up the scent, you may find it at notino.com. They have really good prices. This one was very inexpensive compared to the other fragrances from this collection. All of the information is going to be down below, and because they're located in New Jersey, I got my package so quickly. The shipping is really, really good, and I do think they have the best prices out there. Now, this one in particular came out in 2011, and I do want to mention that Dolce Gabbana has a few different lines. So they have the standard line, and they have many within that line. They also have many discontinued fragrances, unfortunately, like By Man, and I'm not even going to get into that. But they have a few higher end lines. So they have the Anthology collection, which can be found in Sephora, and then they also have the Velvet collection, which currently has 15 fragrances. This one in particular is called Velvet Vetiver, and I guess I could say I was on the hunt for something that's a little bit brighter, a little bit fresher. I know we're in the winter time now, so I was looking for something that I can wear in the upcoming spring season, and I am so happy that I got my hands on this one because it is a spectacular scent. I'm so excited to talk to you a little bit about this one. The perfumer is Rodrigo Flores Ruch, and he has done most, if not all, of the fragrances for John Varvatos. He is an incredibly talented individual, and we have seen through his work that he has a very impressive resume and that he's very versatile as a perfumer, to go from making some of the darker compositions to some of the brighter, more uplifting compositions like Artisan, Artisan Blue, Artisan Aqua. It's really impressive. I'm pretty sure he's done all three of those fragrances. This one is classified as an Oriental Woody, and I want us to start things off by taking a look at the presentation. So unfortunately, I do have a tester of this fragrance, but here's the presentation. The original presentation is much more ornate and it looks much nicer. This is the 50 ml, and it just says tester. You have your UPC at the bottom. Here it says some more information, nothing at the top, and that's it. It's a very simple construction on the box. And then here is the actual bottle. It looks really, really nice. I love the fragrances in this line. It has this velvet sort of covering on the perimeter of the cap. It has the plate, the gold plate right here in the front. Sticker at the bottom with your information, nothing at the back. Dolce & Gabbana engraved into the cap with the established date. And this one does click into place, so you could pick this one up from the cap if you wanted to. And the distribution on this one is really good. And that was the presentation for Velvet Vetiver by Dolce & Gabbana. Now, as soon as you spray this on, you are going to be greeted with this blast of fresh, creamy, sweet, fruity, grassy vetiver note. And it also has galbanum in here. Galbanum is a type of resin, and it gives this sort of green quality to fragrances. I know it's also found in Roma per Uomo by Laura Biagiotti, and it kind of has similar nuances in here. This fragrance is very different from other fragrances that I have gotten my nose on. The closest comparison that I can make is Hanami by Fleur. For some reason, I pick up on some identical nuances between the two, but this one, what I like about it is that it's a very sort of out of left field, unexpected type of a vetiver note. What I mean by that is you have something very bright and crisp and green, something like Mugler Cologne or Original Vetiver, and then you have something very dark and brooding like Encre Noir by Lalique or Sycamore by Chanel. This one is in a league of its own. Like, it's a very different fragrance because it has the note of fig in here. And there is something that I like about this one is that when I read fig, I think of fragrances like Philosopos, where it's a very sort of exaggerated fig. Don't get me wrong, I love Philosopos, and I think it's my favorite diptyque fragrance, but this one is more like Hutiamart's Ciel d'Arine, and I'm really sorry to drop these obscure frames of reference, but what I can say is that it's a tame, unexaggerated fig note, which gives the perfect amount of creamy sweetness, and it's compounded with this fresh sort of vetiver note that gives a clean vibe, but it's not too grassy. and it's not brooding at all. And it has that green quality as a result of the galbanum in the base. And I think overall, it's such a different scent. It's such a breath of fresh air. And I would love to wake up one spring morning, spray this on, and really just take in a lungful of the smell that it puts forth. It's such a wonderful scent. And it's one of the few fragrances in my collection that my wife absolutely loves. As a matter of fact, I was wearing this the other day. We were watching a TV show together, just catching up on some DVRs, and she caught a whiff of this as she was sitting on the couch next to me, and she goes, "That is one of the few fragrances that you've worn that I love." So guys, I want to thank you for watching the review. I want us to finish things off by taking a look at my rating. So first up, I took a look at the uniqueness and the overall smell, and like I said earlier, this is a unique fragrance because it's an unexpected breath of fresh air, out of left field, sort of a vetiver scent. And I can't really compare it to anything except for Hanami by Fleur. Those two fragrances smell quite similar to one another. You have that nice sort of subtle, creamy, fruity nuance that is because of the note of fig, but at times it kind of also reminds me of the note of banana. I know that sounds very weird, but it's a really nice, fresh, uplifting, grassy, green, creamy, fruity sort of a scent. And the marriage, the unison of all those ingredients is something that you really have to witness for yourself. This fragrance, though, in terms of quality, I could have seen it, or I could have expected it to be released in a standard line, and I think it would have sold really, really well. So I'm kind of surprised that for something that is so accommodating and something that's so fresh and something so, you know, and capturing of a universal appeal, that they would release it in a velvet line. But I guess in terms of the way that it smells, there is something velvety about the composition. Longevity could be a little bit better. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think in terms of longevity, I got maybe 4 to 5 hours, which in terms of the retail price is probably a little bit too steep, but I'm thankful for companies like Notino that have this fragrance for a very discounted price. Once again, all the information is going to be down below. Projection on this one is actually really solid, but only for the first hour and a half. After the first hour and a half, it sits very, very close to the skin. And I think, you know, I want to say it becomes a skin scent up until the 4th hour. And that's pretty much when it begins to die out. And I do want to go back in there and reapply with this one. So, you know, it's such a great smell that I think I would over apply or apply several times throughout the day just because I want to experience more of it. It's really, really well done. In terms of versatility, through the roof, incredibly versatile. The only thing that I think is compromised, I think you can wear it any occasion, dressed up, dressed down, perfectly unisex. It's marketed, I believe, as a unisex fragrance. The only thing that it doesn't really have going for it is I don't think it would stand a chance in the winter. But as long as you're not wearing it on, 20-degree temperatures or 10-degree temperatures, I think you'll be fine. But the summertime and the spring is really when this fragrance is going to shine for a number of different reasons. Presentation, I think, is really nice. I like how it has the velvet touch here. Unfortunately, I do have a tester, but if you take a look at the full presentation, it's much more ornate. It looks much nicer. If I were to give this fragrance an overall score, I would give it a 4 out of 5. And that's a really high score for me. With this fragrance, once again, the only thing that's compromised is the performance. The smell is incredible. The smell is fantastic. I like how it veers away from other more recognizable, predictable vetiver fragrances in its genre. And I like that this does things a little bit differently. It's a nice breath of fresh air and it's a different twist on the fragrance. However, I kind of wish that the concentration were perhaps a little bit stronger, something that would something a little bit more sustainable, something that would allow this fragrance to last a little bit longer than it currently does. But I would highly recommend you try this fragrance out. And also any other fragrances from this collection. I know Notino has a bunch of them. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that was it. That was my review on Velvet Vetiver by Dolce Gabbana. If you own or have tried any fragrance from this collection, let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to rate and subscribe to my channel. This way you will keep up to date with any new releases, and that's reviews, top 10s, giveaways, unboxings, and a lot of other fragrance related content. So remember, I smell well so you can smell good, and we'll see you in the next episode. Love you guys.